Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, wakey, wakey. Welcome to this big Saturday session of Whisky Festival in a Box. We're delighted that you can be with us. Hopefully, you've rubbed your bleary eyes, you've had your morning coffee or tea, and you're ready to get started on a super duper whiskey quiz. Obviously, we've got a big day today in terms of sessions. At 1 p.m, we have our Scotch session 2. At 3 p.m, our Asian whiskey session. And finally, our indie bottlers session at 5 p.m. Hopefully, you can join us for as much as you can. Not mandatory, but it'd be lovely to see you. Anyway, I'm going to bring in the guys from Inverhouse, Lukasz and Gregor, who are brand educators for Inverhouse. Main thing is they know their stuff. And they're going to introduce the quiz to you along with the whiskies if you have the quiz pack. So let me just get those guys in now.
Good morning, Eddie. How are you?
Good morning. I'm very well. Good morning, Gregor. How's things?
Oh, fantastic. It's great to be here this morning. Good morning, everybody. Now is probably the best time of the day to be sampling some fine whiskey. So we're delighted to have the first session of the day. Thanks.
Yeah, well, the palate's freshest. Good stuff. Well, listen, thanks, guys, for joining us. I know you guys have been up early as well, so appreciate the extra effort. So, but I'm sure it'll all be worth it. So we'll get you cracking here. Lukasz, tell us about the quiz and how it works, just in case people have missed the information on the pack or on the online.
Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. Those of you who actually read the instructions, my apologies. But if you haven't, and I have there's usually a couple of people who are maybe not quite up to date. So the quiz is being hosted on a platform called Kahoot. If you don't have the Kahoot app, you're going to need one to take part in the quiz, okay? So we're going to give you a little bit of time, obviously, now during the introduction to quickly download the Kahoot app. It's very quick to download, very quick to set up. Once we start the quiz, you're going to see a pin number on your screen, and that's the number that you punch into your phone, into the app. And then the app will serve as your device where you insert the answer. So you won't be able to see the questions on your phone, but that's your device where you punch in when you punch in your answer when the time comes. Okay, so you need that app and you need the pin, which will appear on the screen once we have started. Another thing to say is in terms of the structure of the tasting itself, or the quiz, we've divided it into 4 sections. So we'll be talking about 4 different sort of areas of whiskey knowledge, and each of the 4 brands that we're tasting. So Speyburn, in order, they will be Speyburn, Balblair, Anok, and Old Pulteney. So that may be different to the order they have received them in your pack, but that will be the order, and we will remind you which whiskey we're about to taste. So each of these single malt sponsors a section of the quiz. Okay, so we'll start with Speyburn. We'll taste the Speyburn dram they have there with you, and then we're going to move into the questions. There are only 7 questions in the section, so there aren't too many. Now, a word on difficulty level. If there are some hardcore whiskey people there, you will find some of the questions maybe not super challenging. It's a mix. Okay, so we're trying to make it fun for all sorts of levels of ability and whiskey knowledge. So there will be some hard questions, there will be some relatively easy questions. Now, just to say, this is time sensitive. Okay, so the timing of your answer matters. If a lot of people get the same answer correctly, it's actually the person who got it first is going to be awarded most points. So I would say, even if you know the answers, it still matters that you sort of think on your feet and you're fairly quick off the mark. Another thing to say is that there is a delay. Okay, so we're sort of operating in 2 different time zones. We're about 20 seconds or maybe 25 seconds apart. So what happens is this is just a delay between the platform that we're using for streaming and the actual stream, which is happening on on Facebook, on YouTube, on the website. So what's going to happen is we're going to start reading the question, and the clock is going to start ticking down. And we've got 60 seconds per question. But by the time you hear it, about half of that time will have lapsed. Okay, so you're still going to have at least 30 seconds to answer the question. There's no issue there. But what may happen is you'll see the options a little bit before we start reading the question, and then if you wait too long, these options will no longer be available to you, even though on your screen it feels like we still have time. And this is due to time delay. But we have tested this, we've done this before, and we know there's definitely plenty of time for you to answer the question. So don't worry about that. Okay, so I think that's all from me. Let me just double check my list. No, I think I've said everything I was going to say. I do have the Kahoot on my computer now. So Eddie, I am now ready to share this. Okay. So
I'm
if you're
unavailable, I think, Lucas.
What?
I'm the first one signed up, I think, when he looks at it.
Oh no, so you are absolutely. Yeah, thanks very much. So if you're watching this, if you're seeing this, you should be seeing Gregor. Sorry, I'm looking at the full screen, so I can't actually see the stream. But can you confirm that we've got the full screen up for people to see the pin? Gregor, are we sharing the screen?
Yeah, I've got this quiz screen up with the pin that's showing, and I can see that it's just myself at the moment. So, we've got Marksman, Pete, Isabel, Leanne F, Rory, Simon, McIntosh. There's quite a lot of people flooding in.
It's a relief that you guys.
Oh yeah, they're coming in thick and fast now. So, but perhaps some people already had the app for other quizzes. I know a lot of lockdown quizzes went on, so perhaps they still had it for that. But if not, thank you to everyone who quickly downloaded it and have joined the session. So that's good.
And another thing, if this, anybody's scrambling and you may be having some difficulties with the app or whatnot, don't worry. The pin will actually still be visible once we go into the quiz, so you can really join at any point. We have actually another Gregor, which I don't think it happens very often to you, Gregor.
I was thinking it's either trying to be funny or it's a genuine Gregor. So thanks for joining.
I'm sure it's genuine.
Okay,
Hi, James. Okay. So I'm not sure how many of you have the drams in front of you, but if you do, now is the time to pour the first dram into the glass. It'll be your Speyburn, and I think what we'll do is we'll maybe start the quiz now in the interest of time. But if anybody else is looking to join, if you're scrambling with the app, you'll still have the opportunity to join. Just punch in the pin, which you'll still be able to see on the screen. Okay, so let's go. Oh, countdown. Okay, great. Gregor, do you want to introduce us to the first dram? Do you want to introduce us to Speyburn?
Sure. So the first one, I believe, is it Speyburn Braden Aurich, Lucas? Is that correct, or is it Speyburn 10? Still have a home?
No. Actually, this is a bit embarrassing. I don't remember. Is it number 15? I'm sure people will let us know in the comments.
Yeah, well, at home at the moment, I'm afraid I have depleted my Speyburn stock somewhat. It's a nice go-to favorite to start off with. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the Speyburn Distillery, it's one of our 5 distilleries. Inverhouse, we've Old Pulteney, Balblair, Speyburn, Balminick, and Knockdhu. And Speyburn is our only distillery right in the heart of the Speyside region. So it's located in the town of Rothes, and if anyone's driven through Rothes on the road towards Keith or Huntly, It's just on the way out there, and it's quite a hidden distillery. We don't have a visitor centre open, but the distillery itself was founded in 1897 by a gentleman called John Hopkins. And the story of the distillery was that the gentleman who started it really worked very hard through the night just before the Queen's Diamond Jubilee to get the first cask of whiskey out for that year and for that time. And the distillery at the time also was one of the most technologically advanced. It was one of the few distilleries today that still has drum maltings on site. They aren't operational, but they had pneumatic powered drum maltings, which at the time, of course, was very different. Now the distillery that we have today, of course, is in the same position, and it went through a large development in 2014. So the distillery today is actually our biggest from the portfolio. But that style of Speyburn, for those of you that have had it before, has remained relatively unchanged. So for those of you that have got Speyburn 15 at home, I believe that's a vatting of several different cask types. But what I've got here is the Braden Orach, and the Braden Orach really tells about the distillery style. So what I've got definitely in those, it's quite a sweet, quite a fruity dram, quite a lot of biscuity, malty notes coming through. But a very nice introduction to the quiz, and I won't take up too much more time because I know time is tight. But for anyone that's got the Speyburn 15 at home, good for you. It's more than I've got, but I've got the Braden Orach. Like I say, it's a nice Speyburn dram to start off with.
The 15 is super old school, I find, Gregor. I just love the balance and sort of that sort of gentle elegance of it.
And you've got that introduction of Spanish oak with the 15 as well, don't we? So it's maybe got a bit more dried spice coming in than we do with some of the younger expressions from Speyburn.
Awesome. Let's move into the questions. So round one, Gregor, your round is all about Scotland. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Hope everyone at home's ready. Hopefully,
guys, more people fingers on the buttons.
Okay, right. Okay, so according to Scotch Whisky Associations, there are 5 whisky-producing regions in Scotland: Lowlands, Highlands, Speyside, Islay, and we've got 4 options there. So Islands, Campbelltown, Orkney, or Skye. So hopefully everyone's whisky knowledge is up to date. Relatively simple, straightforward one, I hope, for people at home.
I thought it was Sweden. I thought Sweden was the 5th producing region, but I can't see the option.
I believe Norway, but
Yorkshire.
yeah. So hopefully a pretty straightforward one for people at home, and I'm sure there's plenty of whiskey buffs at home that will know the correct answer to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we've got about 13 answers in it, and I think we've got about 13 of you participating at the moment. So I'm just going to skip. Yeah, I think that's all the answers in.
Oof. Didn't expect that. I thought everyone would get this one right. Maybe we've got some newbies to the whiskey world, but
which is good. Which is good.
Like you said, Lucas, it might seem straightforward at first, but even for the most seasoned people, maybe there's a few that will catch you out.
Yeah, and obviously the answers, some of the answers are designed to be a little bit deceptive. So let's see how we did. James Costello into the lead straight away, but Rory hot on his heels. Simon, Stuart, and Leanne also all in top 5. So well done, guys. You'll see the leaderboard will change quite quickly. Okay, into the next one, Gregor.
Sure. So some Speyside distilleries choose to list different region on their labels. What is it? Is it A, Dufftown Single Malt Scotch Whisky, B, Rothes Single Malt Scotch Whisky, C, Lowlands Single Malt Scotch Whisky, or D, Highlands Single Malt Scotch Whisky? So yeah, that's something that does crop up on some bottles from certain distilleries. I won't give any more hints. But yeah, again, hopefully some people at home know the answer to this one.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, and even some very, very famous Speyside single malts may list a region other than Speyside on the label, which is quite interesting. Okay, we've got the 13 answers in. So I'm going to, at the risk of not giving somebody enough time, I'm just going 14. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So I was maybe rushing it. Sorry, I'll let the clock run down in this case, just to double check how many people are answering at the moment. I think it's 14. Oh, I think we may have made this one too hard, Gregor. I don't know.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously 4 people got the answer correct. Gregor, could you just give us a very quick explanation as to why some distilleries on Speyside would choose to say they're from the Highlands?
I believe it was all those years ago with difference in regions with taxation. Is that correct?
I don't know. There's, I hoped you would have a definitive answer, but actually, you're right. There's a few different theories. But I think in modern times, it's pretty much because that's just how they've always done it, right? And yeah, there would have been other reasons for it in the past. But yeah, Speyside is definitely part of the Highlands. Oh, Sue, you must have had a very, very quick. Quick reflexes, yeah. And Dr. Whiskey, Sam, if that's you, I would say you've got unfair advantage, but you're obviously very welcome to try and chase Sue to the leadership position. I didn't mention, but there is obviously a nice little prize for whoever wins the quiz. That goes without saying. A quiz without a prize is not a quiz. But we won't commit to what it is. Okay, we need to see where the participant is from, because obviously certain things, you guys will understand this, certain things can or cannot be shipped to certain countries. So let's see where the winner is from, but we'll make it super nice. Okay, on to the next one, Gregor.
Okay, excellent. So question 3. So Scottish geography experts all around, no doubt. What island is this? A quick hint, recently got its 2nd distillery. So I know there's lots of islands in Scotland, but which island is this? We're showing in the centre of the map there, and recently got its 2nd distillery. So I know there's huge expansion in the Scotch whisky industry at the moment. There's distilleries cropping up everywhere. So this perhaps again might be quite a difficult one.
So yeah. No, I think the further afield you are, the more difficult you'll find this question. I think anybody who sort of knows Scottish geography will maybe know straight away.
I must admit, Lucas, when we did the run through of this, I got this one wrong.
You did. That's good. And have you tried spirit from the 2nd distillery on this island already? Because I did.
I've tried from the. Oh no, I beg your pardon. I have. Yeah, I have. Now that I know the answer, I have. Yes.
Yeah. No. So we now had 15 people answering this question. So I think people are still joining us, which is great. We're only a couple of questions in, so you still have a chance to catch up to the leaders. Okay, so it was obviously Isle of Arran. Yeah, a few people getting it right.
Much more of a mixed bag of answers than I anticipated.
Which is good, right? It's good. Dr. Whiskey catching up very quickly, but Rory also had a good one, and Sue actually, off to the races. That was another 600 points, I think, for Sue in one sort of one clean cut. So yeah, let's see. This will be interesting. Next one, Gregor.
Okay, so casks used to mature Scotch whisky come to Scotland from other countries. They always have. Which countries currently supply the most oak to age Scotch whisky? Is it A, US, B, Spain, C, Portugal, or D, France? I think that's a pretty tricky one as well, because of the amount of cask finishes we're seeing in the industry at the moment. Yeah.
I think if you take a stroll, between the shelves of your specialist whiskey retailer near you, then you would be forgiven for thinking that most whiskies mature in champagne or Chateau d'Yquem casks these days.
Yeah.
But we're asking specifically about the origin of the oak, and I think that's all the answers in at this point. So I'm just going to, in the interest of time, I'm going to skip into the answers. Oofed. Okay, well done, guys. Well done. You definitely knew this one. and I think somebody maybe their fingers have slipped onto Portugal slightly. Maybe just pick the wrong button. Okay, well,
There's no
it's
stop.
it's getting pretty tight at the top. Marksman, the highest climber in this round, 6 places in one clean answer. That's very good.
Okay, so Space Bay boasts some of the best quality water in the world. The River Spey is itself a world-class salmon fishing spot and a joy to spend time on for anyone who's not been there. But of the following, which of the following is not one of her tributaries? Is it A, the Granty Burn, B, the River Livet, C, the River Ness, or D, the River Fiddich?
Okay, so we're asking which one is not a tributary. Okay.
Hopefully everyone knows what a tributary is as well. That's one of the love that. But, yeah.
No, they obviously know, and the answers are coming in. People are maybe taking a little bit longer on this one. Go on, guys. Suddenly,
people are looking for the curveball. They're looking for, are we trying to trip them up, or is it as straightforward as that?
Yeah, but it'll be down to the line. And just remember, guys, you don't have quite as much time as you can see on your screen because of that roughly 20-second delay. Your time is going to run out for you when you've got about 20 seconds to go still in the question. Okay, so as I explained at the beginning, maybe those of you who joined late, you need to be quite quick because there is a bit of a delay between us and you. So yeah, again, looks like most people knew the correct answer. We managed to trip a few people up, which is great. James joining the fray. I must say, Sue is. I think your advantage, Sue, is melting away. Rory is hot on your heels. So I think it's going to be above a battle, and let's see if Sam can catch up to you guys too.
Okay, it's number crunching time. So if a train from Port Charlotte to Kirkwall is traveling at 70 miles an hour, and the one going in the opposite direction is only traveling at 50 miles an hour, what's wrong with this question? Is it A, it's only a one-way line, B, Kirkwall is on an island, C, Port Charlotte is on an island, and D, both are on islands? It's I'll admit even that one again, when we did the run through, look, it's that one. Yeah, you have to think about exactly what we're asking for and how simple is the question or how difficult is it?
Yeah, well, our job is not to make it easy, but answers are coming in. Once again, guys, you need to be quite quick, so you need to think on your feet. There's definitely enough time for you to answer, but not non-excessive amount. Okay. Oh yes, definitely a few people knew the correct answer. Most of you knew that Port Charlotte was on an island, and then a couple of people we managed to trip up completely. Oh, Sue had a brilliant one. I think Rory may have gotten this one wrong, so got overtaken by Dr. Whiskey. That's great.
Is Sue perhaps a distillery manager that's just hiding under the alter ego?
Maybe.
Okay, so question number 7, unnecessarily difficult one, I think, but we can't have everyone one. What is the road distance from Speyburn Distillery to Aber Lower Distillery? Is it A, 5.8 miles, B, 6.2 miles, C, 7.2 miles, or D, 11.1? So what is the road distance from Speyburn Distillery to Aber Lower Distillery? So I'd mentioned in my question earlier that Speyburn, in my introduction, was located in the town of Rothes. Hopefully everyone knows where Aber Lower Distillery is. But yeah, still, if anyone's driven it, hopefully they will know. But a difficult one once again.
Yeah, I think the answers are now coming thick and fast, and I think obviously we wouldn't expect anybody to be so cheeky as to try and Google map it. No. Let's see how you guys go on. Oh, actually, yeah, most of you got the answer right. So that's quite interesting.
That's Spencer from Speyside, who knows?
Ah, yeah. All Speyside residents. Very good, very good. Oh, Rory, you're back in there with vengeance. Back in there with vengeance. Okay, so that's the end of round one. Thank you very much, Gregor, for leading this section. Now, we're on full screen, so you can't see my face, you can't see my glass, but actually, the second one here, the second round, is sponsored by Balblair Single Malt Scotch Whisky, and Balblair is one of the oldest working distilleries in Scotland. It's situated on very close to Dornoch Firth, just a few miles up the road from Tame, so in the Northern Highlands proper. It started in the 18th century as a sort of a farm distillery, and then a proper distillery was developed sort of from 1850s, and then in the 1890s another redevelopment. We distill and mature all of the stock for single malt on site in traditional dunnage warehouses at Balblair, and it's just one of those pitch distilleries that I think a lot of whiskey lovers, a lot of whiskey enthusiasts really, really appreciate, and maybe it's one of those few sort of hidden gems. Some of you will be aware that we also have a new core range. By new, I mean it's been around for about a year and a half. Obviously, due to the current situation, maybe some markets haven't seen it in the full just yet. So the core range now consists of the 12-year-old, the 15, 18, and there is an absolutely stunning 25-year-old as well. What I have here with me is the 15-year-old, and I believe that's what's in your glass as well. So just to say, in terms of maturation, the 15-year-old is initially matured in refill American oak, and then it's further matured in Spanish oak. So this is something, where we saw a combination of casks for Speyburn, now we're seeing further maturation. So we're looking to layer a little bit of extract, a little bit of the darkness, a little bit of that sort of tannic spine onto the spirit sort of late on in the maturation process. So initially, all that development, all that oxidation, initially you're going to see a lot of that fruitiness, beautiful sort of roundness coming up. Because they are second refill casks predominantly, we're going to see still quite a lot of extract from American oak, a lot of vanilla, a lot of that sort of creaminess, spiciness, and then Spanish oak just absolutely rounds it off, makes it very complex, very deep. So the 15-year-old, incredibly balanced, super elegant dram. It's presented to you at 46%, and obviously at natural color. It's also non-chill filtered. So enjoy this one, and I'm going to hopefully move into the next question. So fingers on buttons. Sorry, I actually need to bring up the question itself, but you're already seeing it.
I can take it, like.
No, that's okay. I've got it here. I got carried away. Okay, so we all know who the best distillers are, the Scots, of course. But as it turns out, this ancient craft may have been brought to Scotland by Christian missionaries. Which country were they from? And you can see the answers on the screen now. So France, England, Ireland, or Denmark. England, you can't possibly think this answer is correct. But Denmark, that's a tantalizing possibility. Stills on Viking ships. I mean, Gregor, you and I have both worked in the Nordics, and we know just how much passion and love they have for the spirits. It's not completely implausible.
Yeah, another tricky one. There's a few answers there that all make sense, but is it as straightforward as you think?
I think it is. I think everyone got this one. Oh, not quite everyone, but yes. So most likely, the art of distilling came with Irish missionaries, or that's the story. Anyway, let's see how this affected the leaderboard. Oh, great. Well, Rory managed to catch up a little bit to Sue after that little hiccup. James doing really well, and Stuart just popped into top 5. Hi, Stuart. Let's see how we get on from here. Okay, so Brother John Core will forever be famous for being the distiller mentioned in the earliest known written reference to whiskey in Scotland. In 1495, distilling was done exclusively by men of the cloth, for medicinal purposes, of course. But soon, the craft would be open to another profession. Who were they? Were they barbers? Were they teachers, farmers, or maybe stable boys? And I can see the answers are already coming in. Now, this one is not quite what it seems, Gregor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know the one that's jumping out to me. Whether it's other people I don't know, but yeah, perhaps have a deeper think about this one.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you guys, we've got all the answers in now, I think. So I can tell you that there was a reference to this other profession, distilling, by 1505, and they were indeed barbers. Okay, so they are not the barbers that we think of today who cut your hair. I mean, they did that as well, but they also sort of, took your teeth out and sort of, maybe sort of amputated limbs and did things like that. So medical procedures was another one. Hence, they had license in the Royal Borough of Edinburgh. They had license to distill as early as 1505. Okay. And how is the leaderboard looking? Oh, great. I mean, it's very, very tight. And Sam got this one right, and I think as one of very few people in the leadership, in the sort of tight leadership. So he managed to catch up really well. Okay, next one. So these days everybody loves paying taxes, but believe it or not, that wasn't always the case. For centuries, there were people in Scotland who preferred to make their whiskey on the down low. The special branch of excisemen tasked with finding those enterprising free spirits were commonly referred to as crows, redcoats, gougers, or the Black Watch. And Gregor, I hope I get extra points for sneaking a Game of Thrones reference in here.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it.
What?
No. I didn't think you were there, if I'm honest.
Okay. Well, that's fine. We'll talk about it later. Okay, the answers are coming in. I expect people to know this one. If you're interested in the history of Scotch whisky, you will know this. Okay, awesome. Yes, indeed. Most people knew the correct answer. 10 out of 15 people know that the excisemen who were hunting for the illicit stills up in the hills and down in the glens were referred to as gougers. So yeah, still very, very close at the top. Excellent. Okay. Now this is another nice sort of history question from the heyday, from the golden era. Robert Burns, Scotland's national bard, wrote about whiskey all the time. In fact, he worked with the amber spirit for a while, but in what capacity? As a distiller at Fermentation, as a distiller at Kennepan's, as a clerk, or as an exciseman? Once again, this may trip some people up, Gregor.
I think he was a blogger, no?
Well, they're called influencers these days, right?
What's his Instagram handle?
Yeah, bloggers were a thing when Dr. Whiskey and I were still around in the blogosphere. But now you just set up an Instagram account and you have to make sure that you've got all the Insta stories right. Okay, and I think we've got almost all the answers in now. Oh, okay, I'm going to let the clock run down because there's one person still. All right, okay. Oh yeah, most people knew the answers. Very good, guys, very good. Oh, Dr. Whiskey has a streak of 4 correct answers in a row. Well done, Sam. Excellent stuff. All right. Okay, well, one of the major turning points in the history of Scotch whisky was the advent of blending in the 1850s. Single malts and grain whiskies brought together in just the right proportions helped to establish Scotch as the most recognizable spirit in the world. Now, who is widely credited as the father of modern blending? Is it John Walker? Is it Andrew Usher? Is it Tommy Dewar? Or perhaps James Cato? Now, this is a bit tricky because all of these were sort of in that group of blending pioneers. May not be obvious straight away. Okay, we've got some answers which were sort of quite quick of the mark, but we're still waiting on a couple of people, I think. So yeah, get your answers in. I think that's 15. That's everybody in now. Oh, Yes, well, most of you knew it was Andrew Usher. In fact, it was Andrew Usher and then Andrew Usher Jr. that was sort of both responsible, but it was Andrew Usher Jr. who was sort of the main culprit. But some thought it was John Walker as well, which is not unreasonable at all. But there's the Dr. Whiskey in the lead. Very good. Fantastic effort. So the margin is so small. Focus. Get your fingers on the button. We want to see a battle until the end. Okay. Now, most distilleries operating today were established in the 19th century, but there are some which date farther back. Which of the following 18th century distilleries is the newest? Now, hint, and I already said this earlier, the Balblair was established in 1790, so this may help you. So we're asking which one of these is the newest, and they were all licensed in the 18th century. And Balblair dates back to 1790. So let's see which one is the newest. Okay. There's some late answers. I think there may be some Googlers possibly, but let's see how you guys get on. But there were some quick ones as well. So obviously a few of you knew the answer straight away, and we've got 15 answers in. And actually, well done, guys. Most of you knew it was Highland Park. Well done. Obviously, the oldest license in Scotland being Glentarget. Let's just do it to the leaderboard. Oh, Rory into second place.
Is suicide off, you think? Or?
No, maybe just bad luck on a couple of questions. So let's see. Let's see what happens. This is there's an element of chance to this. So another tough one, guys. One of the most important pieces of legislation relating to Scotch whisky was the Excise Act of 1823, which made legal distilling easier and more accessible. The Act set a sensible fee for a distilling license. But what was it? Was it £5? Was it £10? Was it £22? Or was it £840? And I can tell you straight away that the license for a distiller in Scotland today is much more than any of these amounts. Oh, this one we've got this is a late one. I think there's going to be a dash for the finish line here. Did you know this one, Gregor, before?
No, again, there's quite a few ones in this that'll catch most people, I think.
Yeah. Well, that was the idea. Some easy ones and some hard ones, and then obviously relying on timing as well. So, but it's still quite a few people knew it was £10. So that was the price of license as of 1823, which soon thereafter went up. Oof. Rory into the lead from a third position and fourth position, I think, at one point, and right into the lead. Well done. Okay, so this is the end of round 2, and we're into round 3. Gregor, do you want to take this one? Let's talk about Anok a little bit.
Sure. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Anok, Anok is made at the Knockdhu Distillery. The Knockdhu Distillery is located in the town of Knock, again, just on that road out towards Huntly. The distillery was initially founded by a gentleman called John Morrison, and the reason he founded it in that exact location, he wanted it to be right on the Great Northern Railway line. Additionally, all around the area was an endless supply of peat, of course, a very clean, pure water source, and lots of room for growing barley. One of the interesting things today about the distillery from our side is it's our most manually operated distillery. There's only, I believe, six people and 2 dogs that work there, so still a relatively small team. But interestingly, actually, it's the most efficient or the highest yielding distillery within our group, and it's the most manually operated. So definitely owes a lot still to that human element and that kind of handcrafted part of making whiskey. Nogdu also is one of our distilleries that makes or uses peated malt for a certain proportion of the year. So for those of you that are familiar with the brand, of course, we have the standard range with Anok 12 all the way up to 24, but we also have Anok Peat Heart, using the peated malted barley, and of course we're just about to move on to batch 2. So quite an interesting distillery, very, very nice style. Talked about Speyburn being quite malty, quite fruity, and maybe a bit heavier, but for me, Anok definitely by far the lightest, most floral, very elegant style. What's quite different about this as well, we're still using worm tub condensers on it. We are still using wooden washbacks, so all old-fashioned processes, but a very clean, floral, elegant style of single malt. The 12, which I think everyone has in their pack at home, it's predominantly American oak cask again, so a lot of that kind of sweet, dried toffee, kind of butterscotch note coming through, but the kind of take-home things for me, it's very light, very floral, elegant estery.
Excellent. Actually, it's really early in the day, but you're making me crave a little Anok 12. I think it would be perfect for this time of the day. Are you, Gregor, ready with your questions? Don't be like me. Don't scramble for the script.
You, Lucas.
Yeah, okay. Well, thank you. So we're moving into the questions now.
Excellent. Okay, so for the first question, specialist tools for distilling may not have changed much in essence over the centuries. However, some have certainly changed in their appearance. Now, what on earth is this? What are we showing in that picture? Is it A, a pressure gauge, B, a hydrometer, C, a thermometer, or D, a dipstick? How can you advise people, Lucas, on how to look at this? I don't know.
Well, let me put it this way: if you don't know, you don't know, and you won't be able to Google this one. So if you don't know, you just need to have a little stab.
Looks like some kind of ancient medical equipment. No, that's the first thing that I thought when I saw it.
For clubbing people over the head, maybe.
Sore teeth or something.
Going to be right down to the line, I think, this one. No, actually, one person did not answer at all. Okay, so most people knew it was a hydrometer. Well done. Obviously, a tool which is used for measuring a density of liquids. What is this doing to the leaderboard? Oh, James is on the streak. 5 correct answers in a row, so catching up really quickly. I think nobody in the top 3 actually scored points for this round. So let's see.
Okay, so the next question. Some things change well, some things stay the same. This tool actually hasn't changed at all in a long time. Now, what is this? What is the picture that we're showing there? Is it A? Now, forgive if I'm pronouncing these incorrectly, Lucas. A Valnich? Is it? Here we go, I did it wrong. B, a dog. C, a line arm, or forgive me with this one as well. D, an adze. Lucas, correct me.
I think I always pronounce the first one Valinch. I always thought it was Valinch.
Valinch. Okay, I read it wrong. My bad.
But you would be forgiven for thinking, yeah, it's not a Gaelic word though. We're so in the mindset of trying to read like the Gaelic names properly, right?
This will teach me for not going through the quiz in great detail beforehand. I did look through it, but admittedly, pronouncing all of the answers in it.
No, it's fine. I'm sure I get these not quite right either. But most people knew it was an adze, so it's this sort of a tool used for sort of evening out and smoothing out and sort of taking material of the insides, the frame of the cask in the coopering process. So well done. And what does this do? Ooh, so straight to the top.
Vengeance.
Back in there. Excellent stuff. And the next question, Gregor.
Okay, so question number 3 for the Anok round. So let's have a couple of easy ones. So in a traditional distillery, what would you keep in a tun room? Is it A, washbacks, B, mash tun, C, stills, or D, casks? So hopefully this one is pretty smooth. So in a traditional distillery, what would you keep in a tun room? Think about it, that's all I'll say.
Yeah. There were a couple of very, very quick answers straight off the bat while you were still reading it, and I'm just wondering if there was little slips of the finger. Yeah, but it's most of the answers are in, but it's a little bit counterintuitive, this one, I will say. Okay, so hopefully that's everybody who's answering now in. Of course, the correct answer is washbacks. So you actually keep washbacks in the tun room, and the building where you keep the mash tun. In some distilleries, it will be referred to as a mash house, but the tun room is definitely where you keep your washbacks. Oh, Sue is 3 in a row on a streak again, but I think Rory was just a little bit quicker with this one. Look how fine the margins are, Jesus.
It's very, very close.
On to the next one. Let's go.
Okay, question number 4. So we're not saying distillers of the old world would help themselves to a spirit, but for one reason or another, low wines and spirits flowing from the stills in a traditional malt distillery pass through this contraption under lock and key. Now, what is this? So traditionally, hopefully I'll make it pretty clear, it's kept under lock and key, and we would have spirit flowing from the stills through this contraption. So what is that? Hopefully anyone that's done a tour of the distilleries will be pretty obvious.
I mean, it has to be the best aquarium in the world for sure.
There will be someone, I'm sure. Probably in Scandinavia of all places.
Absolutely, yeah. But it's remarkable how much pride the distillers take in this. Okay, so pretty clean sweep, actually. Most people knew it was a spirit safe. Oh, Leanne, back with vengeance. Very good, on a streak. Excellent. Well, Rory now in the lead.
Okay, and on to the 5th question from the Anok round. Single malt whiskey is typically distilled twice, but there are some exceptions. Which of the following single malts is distilled 3 times? Is it A, Anok, B, Auchentoshan, C, Glenkinchie, or D, Ardbeg? I know there's quite a few distilleries in Scotland now that are triple distilling, but yeah, there's definitely one in that answer that jumps out to me.
Yeah. No, we were quite careful not to be ambiguous in any way. So there's one they use triple distillation, and then the rest of them don't go anywhere near triple distillation, just to make it very nice and safe for everybody. I think most people will know.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, the verdict is in. Is of course Auchentoshan. Gregor, out of interest, do you know what Auchentoshan means?
Pass.
I think it means corner of the field. It's quite interesting. Rory now on a streak, but Sue is hot in pursuit still. Look at this, only a couple of 100 points away. So, and it can change at any moment. And the next one, Gregor.
Okay, and on to number 6. So Scotch whisky, as we know, must be matured in oak casks for a minimum of 3 years. But there are many different types of casks, ranging from tiny octaves to massive Gordas, right? You've caught me again. The cask picture here are quite unmistakable. If you know your casks, of course, they are A, Spanish butts, B, American standard barrels, C, French barriques, D, it could be an English hogshead, but the light isn't that great. So what have we got there? Hopefully, like I mentioned, this one's pretty clear. But yeah, quite a few different cask types in the answers there. So think carefully about it.
you have a big lorry trailer to help you with scale. Yeah. Okay, that's the answers coming in. I think everybody will know this one. Hopefully, well, let's see. It may be more obvious to us than it actually is. Oh, nearly everybody. So yes, indeed, Spanish oak butts. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean it's still very, very tight at the top. And the next one, Gregor.
We do have a tough one here, so this is definitely for whiskey advanced people. Maybe I don't know. So every budding brewer or distiller knows that yeast produces alcohol in a process called fermentation. Unlike a budding brewer or distiller, however, yeast won't just eat everything. It likes exclusively sugars, and even then it's a bit fussy. Which one of the sugars below would not be metabolized by typical distiller's yeast? So which would not be metabolized? Is it A, glucose, B, maltose, C, sucrose, or D, lactose? So yeah, that's a bit of a geeky one, but I think we do have a few whiskey buffs definitely on this one from
yeah. It's sort of the answers are coming slightly in two waves. There was like that initial wave of people who, like 2 or 3 people who definitely knew the answer and were comfortable just pushing that button straight away, and then maybe some people are thinking about it a little bit. Okay, well, there you go. So the correct answer was lactose. Not everybody knew this. So about half of you knew the correct answer. So typical strains of Saccharomyces cerevisiae do not transport lactose through the cellular wall, so they will not be able to digest this one. Oh, Rory, the advantage now to just shy of 1,000 points. So so a little bit of clear air. Okay, well, thank you very much, Gregor. That was round number 3, and round number 4 is Weird, Wonderful, and Trivia. Okay, and we'll be quite quick about this one. We don't have that much time left, and we want to let you go on time. But just to say that this one is sponsored by Old Pulteney Single Malt Scotch Whisky, and Old Pulteney is that fantastic maritime malt which is made all the way up north in Scotland. It's made at Pulteney Distillery in the port town of Wick. It's been made there since the 1820s, and at that time, throughout the 19th century, Wick was a really important herring fishing port. At peak, in about the 1850s, there would have been 1,100 herring fishing vessels registered and operating out of Wick. So it was really a booming port, which interestingly enough didn't have a road connection to the rest of the country up until 1920s. So it was a very interesting place that definitely needed a distillery. And enter stage left Pulteney Distillery, which was situated on the outskirts of Pulteney Town, which was not even in Wick at that time, in 1826. Now, to this day, we call it the Maritime Malt, and the casks of this whiskey must be matured on site. It's naturally quite a dense, quite a heavy spirit. So if you pour yourself that 15-year-old Old Pulteney, if you have a tasting pack, you will see that it has a great body, has a little bit of viscosity. It clings to the palate in a particular way. On a nose, there's just a little bit of that sort of waxy citrus, which is really quite reminiscent of that sort of heavier spirit style coming off the still. But the real trick to this one is that maturation on the coast, very flat maturation conditions, and you're also going to see a little bit of that sea air influence. Now, how that happens is still a bit of a mystery, still a bit of a guessing game. We know that it happens because when we take these casks inland to mature at a different facility, we know that they develop differently. Okay, so there's a range of environmental factors we think which influence maturation on the coast and make Old Pulteney. So enjoy this one. Let us know what you think in comments. Wherever you're following this one. But I'm going to get cracking with the questions. And this time I'm actually going to look at the question first, and then I'm going to push the button and actually see what it is. Okay, so this wash still sits proudly at the heart of Pulteney Distillery. So we're unashamedly asking you about our own distillery. It's unusual to say the least. The boil ball is massive and the line arm is attached directly to the neck of the still. Now, what is it commonly known as, this still? What is its sort of pet name at the distillery? Is it the giraffe? Is it the bulb? Is it the Smugglers Kettle? Or is it the dead man's chest? I I have to say, getting Pirates of the Caribbean reference into a question about the Maritime Malt, I didn't think it would fly, but I don't think anybody noticed. So I'm just going to go with it.
As long as it's not Game of Thrones.
No, it's a beautiful still. It's a really unusual still, and it's really at the heart of the Old Pulteney style. So it really helps to shape that spirit. And I think we've got all the answers in, or well, we're missing one, but the time ran out. Actually, most of you interestingly thought it was the bulb, but actually at the distillery they refer to it as the Smugglers Kettle. The story goes that it was the shape was reminiscent of the illicit stills in the area at the time. So apparently it was sort of it was a copy. Okay, I think there's no movement in the top 5 actually, which is quite interesting. But Pete, Isabel, so I think is it Pete and Isabel, or perhaps Pete Isabel, a streak of 5 correct answers at this time. Excellent work. All right, the next one. Now, the higher you go, the colder it gets. So distilling high up in Scotland definitely comes at a price. It does have its advantages though. Which one of the following would you say is located the highest? Is it Girvan Distillery? Is it Glendronach Distillery? Is it Ardmore Distillery? Or is it Dalwhinnie Distillery? Now, once again, this is the sort of question where, you know, if you know Scotland, if you've traveled around, this will be relatively easy, especially if you've visited the distillery in question. Now, additional hint here is obviously the distillery we're asking about is pictured. Because of the delay, most of you have now come back with the answer. So because of the delay, I can safely say that. Okay, we're still waiting on a couple of people potentially with the answers. I may have given that hint too soon. No, it is, of course, Dalwhinnie Distillery, and most of you knew that. Gregor, have you been to Dalwhinnie?
I've not driven past it. Well, of course, it's not open at the moment, but no, I'd like to visit it at the next point. Have you been?
Yeah, and beautiful still, and fantastic spirit, and also you know, proper worm tubs as well, which is really great to see. Okay, next one. Now, there are quite a few distilleries operating in Scotland. The number fell to single digits in the disastrous 1930s and plummeted again in the 1980s. But today, with all the new sites operating, Scotch whisky production is in rude health. Discounting temporary closures, such as obviously, you know, some distilleries sort of ceasing operation due to lockdown. So don't pay attention to that. But how many working distilleries are there in general? So between 50 and 100, 100 to 200, 200, over 200 or over 300. So just have a stab. And we didn't really want to commit to a number in this question, like an exact number, because it does seem to change now on an almost sort of monthly basis, and it's almost impossible to keep track of all the different projects which are in planning, which are in build, which are in development. And so we're just looking for rough ballpark, and I think most people will know this one. Oh yeah, crushing majority of you knew that it was definitely over 100, but not quite 200 yet. And everybody in the top 5 scored. So there we go. But Rory definitely very quick, actually peeling away slightly. So Sue, James, Leanne, Stuart, you've got your work cut out if you want to catch up. There's only a few questions left until the end. Okay, now there are some incredibly old whiskies out there. It's not unusual to age spirit for 20, 30, or even 40 years. Incredibly, our friends at family-owned company Gordon MacPhail managed to age a cask of Mortlach even longer, creating the oldest Scotch whisky ever bottled. How old was it? You will remember this one, guys. This was a few years ago. They released a Mortlach first. Then they had a cask of Glenlivet, which was also incredibly old, and then they had another cask of Mortlach, which was even older, and that stands as the oldest Scotch whisky ever bottled. You should hopefully know the answer. We purposefully didn't give you the sort of the age of the younger Mortlach that they did. We didn't want to confuse things too much. This is obviously a famous bottling, so I expect quite a few of you will know. Oh, so some split votes here. Gregor, did you know this one?
No, I knew the age of the Glenlivet. I remember all of that being advertised, but perhaps it was the first Marlock. That surprised me as well.
I was actually at the launch of the first Mortlach that they did, the 70-year-old at Edinburgh Castle. It was a beautiful event, and I tasted it at the time, and what a memorable experience that was.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, cool. Right, on to the next one. As a whiskey matures, some of the spirit evaporates due to the porous nature of oak. It's usually a bit less than 2% of the total alcohol per year. If you ask a tour guide at the distillery, what would they romantically refer to this process as? Is it the spirit of heavens? Is it the angel's share? Is it heavenly dram? Or a bloody old waste? There is also a hint in the photo. This may be a slightly obscure one if you're not a major cinematography follower. There we go, Angel Share. I mean, this must have been the easiest one of them all. But pictured was the cast of Angel Share, Ken Loach's film. The director was in there as well, and also our old friend Charlie MacLean, a renowned whiskey expert and writer, also had a role in the film. So obviously most of you knew that. What does this do to the leaderboard? Oh, James, well done, overtaking Sue at I think very very last minute. But there are still 2 questions to go. So if Rory has a really really terrible time over the next 2 questions, it's still anybody's game. Okay, next one here. This is more of a statement than a question, really. What is the correct way to enjoy Scotch whiskey? Neat room temperature, nose in glass, blindfolded, open window, closed window. 2 glasses of espresso before. Is it neat 3 ice cubes, rocks glass? Is it in a highball with soda and lemon twist, or is it all of the above? Many, many more, and any way you like it. So this is really a question for you guys to get some easy points on the scoreboard. It's more of a statement from us to say, guys, do enjoy the whiskey you have in front of you any way you like it. Some of you obviously still thought it was a neat room temperature, but this is obviously the way that we would do it. When we're assessing new liquid, when we're assessing casks and doing all sorts of work around the spirit, that's how I would approach every new whiskey in the house or at work. But of course, any way of enjoying a whiskey within bounds of reason is acceptable. Okay, what's happening here? Well, no major changes in the top 5. Everybody's tracking in their usual positions. Okay, we're going to go to the next one. And this is actually the last question. So if you have any hopes of changing your position within the standings, now is the opportunity. Okay, this iconic piece of design is the Deug Ventilator, commonly known as the Pagoda. It would sit at the top of the kiln to help draw smoke and air through the drying malt. At some point, it was an indispensable piece of kit, and today most distilleries still have one. But which distillery is this slightly unusual example from? Is it from Knockdhu? Is it from Laphroaig? Is it from Glen Grant? Or is it from the Royal Brackla? And actually, all 4 of them are fabulous distilleries and some of my favorite distilleries in Scotland in terms of liquid and in terms of the sites. But we're after this specific one where this Deug Ventilator sits on top of. If you didn't know the answer, Gregor, would you know off the top of your head?
No.
I have to say, I maybe would have guessed correctly, but I wouldn't know this one either. Actually, amazing effort. Most people knew this was Laphroaig Distillery, whether through process of elimination. And I think people who didn't know straight away thought we were being cheeky and picking one of our own distilleries from our portfolio. But it's not Knockdhu. Knockdhu has a sort of a red the top of the pagoda is painted red. That sort of ventilator part itself. But it was indeed Lafroig Distillery. Okay, so I think what's going to happen now is we're going to go into, yes, Slanjava, thank you very much. Thank you to all taking part. And now we're going to go into the podium ceremony, which is a little bit silly. In third place, Sue, I think you led the pack initially for a very long time. James consistently in top 5 throughout the competition, but there could only be one winner, Rory. So Rory, if you submitted, and well done to Leanne, well done to Stuart, well done to you, Sam, Dr. Whiskey. You did exceptionally well, even though you sort of I think Sam may have left at some point. But thank you to all. Now, Rory, if you left your correct email when registering for this, then we will be able to get in touch. But if you didn't, and we completely understand why that would be, I would maybe suggest that you drop the Whiskey Lounge a little message with the correct email address, so that we can contact you regarding your prize. We'll work out something really, really nice for you. But for the time being, that's the end of the quiz proper. I'm going to hopefully stop sharing the screen, and we're back with Eddie.
Well, thanks, guys, and thanks to everyone for taking part. I think everyone will agree it's a really. I mean, there's been a lot of quizzes in the last few months, but definitely really good fun and good for all levels as well. So I think you did a great job. So thank you for that. Now, Gregor, I know you don't have a great deal of time before you're back on with us again. So I feel I should let you go and have a bit of a break. But thanks once again. I'm going to introduce back into the mix a little bit of music. So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to remove you from the stream now. Thank you once again, Lukasz and Gregor. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Eddie. And have a great rest of the day.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care.
Right.
Okay, so we're now at 6 minutes past, 7 minutes past 12, and we're going to be starting the next session at 1 p.m., which is our Scotch Whiskey session 2. I hope you'll join us for that. In the meantime, I'm going to introduce our friend Marcus Bonfanti, who couldn't unfortunately be with us live. He had planned to be, obviously online live, but he's actually got some work, which is for paid work, which for a professional musician at the minute is quite rare. So we've got to be pleased with him for that. But he did record a series of videos for us to play at various points during the day and days. So I feel it only fair that we give them a little bit of an airing. So for the next 10-15 minutes, just kick back and enjoy. This is Bonfanti, and he is a tremendous blues singer and guitar player. So here we go. Hold on. Let's see if I can get some volume on that. Oh, sorry about this, folks. And
all right, hello everybody. Saturday lunchtime. Hope you guys are settling in for a nice day of whiskey with the Whiskey Lounge. My name is Marcus Bonfanti, and I'm a good friend of Eddie, and I've played a lot of his whiskey events before. Done a lot of them down at the Oval in London, which has always been great fun. It's been great fun to be around the whole event, and it's a shame that we can't do that in person. But we felt like we could bring a little bit of the musical element into your online session anyway. So I'm going to do a little bit of blues music for you to get you in the mood to drink some good whiskey. I'm actually going to kick off with the tune that might not strictly be rhythm and blues, but it's a good Saturday afternoon tune just to get you settled in. And it's a song by the good band Little Feat. I've been wiped by the rain, I've been driven by the snow. I'm drunk and filthy, but don't you know I'm still willing. 'Cause out on the road one Christmas night, and I saw my Alice in every headlight. Alice, Alice, Alice. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchapee to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads I wouldn't get away. And if you give me weed, whites and wine, and you show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. I've been burned by the frost, I've been baked by the heat, had my head stoved in, but I'm still on my feet, and I'm still in a whole lot of trouble. Smuggled some folks and smokes from Mexico, baked by the sun every time I go to Mexico. And I'm still, and I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchapee to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads I wouldn't get away. And if you give me weed, whites and wine, and you show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving. From Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchapee to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads I wouldn't get away. And if you give me weed, whites and wine, and you show me a sign, I'll be willing to be moving, to be willing. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That's one of my favorite songs by one of my most favorite bands, Little Feat. I'm going to take you back now. We're going to go and get right into the rhythm and blues of it all. And here's a song by another favorite pair of artists, Sonny Terry and Brandon McGee. Sonny Terry, the harmonica player, Brandon McGee, the guitar player. I've got many records by them, and their music always sounds so joyous to me, like two great friends playing music, which is what we play music for. So I was quite surprised when I realized that by the end of, I think maybe for the majority of their career, they didn't actually really like each other, but they enjoyed playing music together. But I think on a personal level, they didn't really get on. So, hey, you know what I mean? Sometimes music can just sort of mask all them things. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. It's The Burnt Child, Afraid of Fire. I was burned once, 1944. Woman, I ain't gonna let that happen to me no more. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Oh, honey, I'm afraid of fire. I took the woman in, I treat her like a queen. I don't see why she treat me so mean. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Oh, honey, I'm afraid of fire. I said if you didn't want me, baby, why did you dog my poor heart around? I said now you could have told me, baby, I'd go out and walk right on out of your town. You can't plant cotton, expect to gather corn, and you can't take right, make it so wrong. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Oh, honey, I'm afraid of fire. So am I. Turned out to be a lie. 'Cause where there's smoke, there's bound to be fire. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Oh, honey, I'm afraid of fire. Well, now I'm getting old, I can't hardly see. Oh, that's right, I ain't gonna let you make a fool out of me. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Oh, honey, I'm afraid of fire. I said, now you didn't want me, baby. Why did you dog my poor heart around? I told you, yeah, you could have told me, baby, I get out and go walking right on out of your tail. I was born once, 1944, but I ain't gonna let that happen to me no more. 'Cause I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Honey, I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Honey, I'm a burnt child, baby, oh, yes I am. Well, don't you know I'm afraid of fire? Burnt child, afraid of fire, Sonny Terry and Brownie McGee. All right. I'm gonna play a couple more for you. I'll keep it quick so you can get into your whiskey. I did write down what I wanted to play. I can't even read it now. Okay, yeah, there we go. So I'm gonna do a little big bruisey number for you. It's called I Got the Key to the Highway. Key to the highway, build up and down to go. I'm gonna leave here walking, 'cause walking moves too slow. I'm going down to the border, only where I'm better known. All you done, woman, drive a good man from his home. So give me one kiss, baby. One kiss and then I'll go. Oh, woman, you just drove me from my happy home. Yes, you did. Yes, I got the key all through the highway, build up and bound to go. I'm gonna leave here running, 'cause walking's most too slow. And I say bye, 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 baby. Oh, honey, now, honey, bye, bye. I'm gonna walk this old highway until the day that I die. So that's the Key to the Highway, Big Bill Brunsey. I'm going to play you one last tune to get you in the mood. This is an old tune by Tennessee Ernie Ford, all about how America was built. Yeah, it's a song that should put you in the mood for a drink, man, because these guys did hard labor. And they didn't always often get a drink afterwards, man. So I hope you guys appreciate the whiskey you're about to drink. Again, I'd like to thank Eddie and everyone at the Whiskey Lounge for having me and letting me involved with your weekend. I'll be back this evening to see you all again and play some more blues. But until then, I load 16 tons, but what do I get? Well, they say a man, Lord, is made of mud. A poor man's made of muscle and blood. Muscle and blood, skin and bone. He got a mind that's weak, but a back that's strong. He loads 16 tons. What do I get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, St. Peter, don't you call me. 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company star. Oh, the day I was born, it was thunder and rain, fighting and trouble and my middle names. I was raised off the rail, I was stoned by the iron. Ain't no hot tongue lady tell me walk the line. I load 16 tons, what do I get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company star. Oh, Lord. Yeah, you see me coming, you better step aside. A lot of men didn't, that's how a lot of men died. I got a fist of iron, I got a fist of steel, and if my left don't get you, then my right one will. Oh, 16 tons, what do I get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company star. I load 16 tons, what do I get? Another day older and deeper in debt. Oh, St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. Because I owe my soul to the company star. Well, thank you so much for sticking with me. My name is Marcus Bonfanti. If you want to find out a little bit more about what I do, all my music's up there on all the usual places for you to listen to. And I have a website, marcusbonfanti.com, that you can visit and see what I'm up to. At the moment, not up to a hell of a lot, but I'm enjoying doing this. So thank you so much, Ed, and all the Whiskey Land. And you all enjoy yourselves and have a great weekend.
Thank you to Marcus for that. I mean, it's a shame he couldn't be here, but obviously he's put some effort into those videos, and it's great to see and hear him. And I'll be sure to thank him for everyone next week. Anyway, that's it for this broadcast. We'll be back in about 33 minutes, hopefully, for the Scotch session 2. So hopefully you can join us for that. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Hope everyone's well and enjoying the session so far. I shall see you soon.